Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures are clearly swinging for something massive with Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and the scale of this next chapter is finally starting to come into focus. What was already shaping up to be Tom Holland's most ambitious Spider-Man film yet is now rumored to be even bigger and far more dangerous than anyone expected. While crossover potential has always been part of the conversation, the real shockwave surrounding Brand New Day is the rapidly growing list of villains headed straight for Peter Parker. And according to new reports, what fans know right now may only be scratching the surface. The production has already confirmed a stacked ensemble that instantly raises eyebrows. Mark Ruffalo is officially back as Bruce Banner, bringing the Hulk into Peter's orbit once again. Jon Bernthal's Punisher is also returning, signaling a darker, more grounded tone for this chapter of Spider-Man's story. Then there's Sadie Sink, whose role remains tightly under wraps, but speculation continues to grow that she could be introducing a new version of Jean Grey into the MCU. Taken together, these casting choices strongly suggest that Brand New Day isn't just another sequel, it's a bridge, using Spider-Man as connective tissue to usher Marvel into its next era. But the heroes aren't the only ones assembling. Reports indicate that Spider-Man will be facing one of the most crowded rogues galleries ever seen in a single Spidey film. Michael Mando is expected to return as Scorpion, while Marvin Jones III steps in as the brutal and imposing Tombstone. They're reportedly joined by Tarantula, Boomerang, and the cybernetic menace known as Ramrod. That lineup alone would be overwhelming for most heroes. Yet a new report suggests that this still isn't the full picture. According to well-known industry insider Daniel Rickman, Brand New Day will feature even more villains beyond those already announced or leaked. While Rickman hasn't revealed specific names, the implication is clear. Marvel and Sony are loading this movie with threats. As always, with scoops, caution is warranted, but Rickman's track record keeps this rumor firmly in the realm of possibility, and it raises serious questions about how this story will be structured. Brand New Day represents a full reset for Peter Parker. After the events of No Way Home, the world has completely forgotten who he is. There's no Avengers support, no Stark tech, no billion-dollar safety net. That blank slate gives Marvel and Sony enormous creative freedom to flood the streets of Manhattan with classic comic book villains and show Peter surviving purely on instinct, intelligence, and grit. One of the smartest ways to handle this influx of enemies would be through a fast-moving opening stretch or a stylized montage. That approach could bridge the gap between the previous trilogy and this new era, showing Peter's evolution as a masked, street-level hero without slowing the story to a crawl. Marvel has already proven this technique works. The Fantastic Four, First Steps, used a similar montage to establish history and tease villains like Mole Man, the Mad Thinker, and Red Ghost without derailing the narrative. Applying that same strategy here would allow audiences to see how Peter has been scraping by since 2021, taking on low-level criminals, clashing with familiar foes, and cleaning up the city without recognition or reward. This is Spider-Man back to basics. Homemade gear, limited resources, no spotlight, just responsibility. Of course, the creative risk is real. Juggling the Hulk, the Punisher, a possible Jean Grey, and a small army of villains isn't easy. Even if some antagonists only appear briefly, there's a danger the film could feel overcrowded or lose its emotional focus. There's also the risk of disappointing fans who've waited years to see certain villains fully realized, only to watch them flash by as quick cameos. Still, if Marvel and Sony strike the right balance, Brand New Day could end up feeling like a living, breathing snapshot of the MCU's New York, a city where danger lurks on every block and Spider-Man is constantly in motion. It's an ambitious gamble, but it might be exactly what the character needs. Brand New Day swings into theaters on July 31st, and if these reports hold true, Peter Parker is about to face one of the most relentless battles of his life. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more updates on Spider-Man, the MCU, and Avengers, Doomsday, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.